So my name is Mark Iverson, and I'm the Group Vice President of Digital River My Commerce. And Digital River My Commerce is actually the collection of all of our small and medium business e-commerce solutions. So platforms like RegNow, SWReg, Accelerate, Share It. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about social media marketing. And I know in the news you guys have heard that Ford Motor Company is pulling their social media spend back, right? I'm not talking about this speech is not going to be about advertising on Facebook or Twitter or social sites like that. This is about building your own persona on a social network. So not spending money doing ads. The big reason why people go to social networks is because they want to hang out, right? They don't want to leave the social network that they're on to go buy something. They want to stay where they are. They want to hang out. They want to check out what their friends are doing. They want to be in that network. So advertising may not be the best way to create more awareness with your brand. But what you want to do is create a persona for your company, a persona for your brand or your software that you're trying to sell. And engage a community and get them involved with your product or your brand or your business. So a little bit what we're going to talk about today is social media and why does it matter, and why does my brand how does my brand make the most of social media? So you take a look at social networks. They reach 82% of the world's internet population. So if you have internet access, 82% of those people are actually doing something in social. And it's growing in every single country around the world. You can take a look though and see, like in Asia Pacific, where China's only having 53% activity, but that's just due to the fact that people's access to the internet. But everywhere else, it's in the plus 90s. North America, Latin America, Europe, Middle East. It's truly, social media networking is truly global. And time spent in all regions grew by 35% in 2011. So the social consumer, you take a look, and 53% of them use Facebook on the internet. 40% of them like a product in a social network. 20% use Facebook to research products at least once a week. And 42% wrote an online post about a product. And then 33% wrote a review. Also, you take a look at some of the consumer activity. Over 50% of Facebook fans and Twitter followers say that they're more than likely to buy recommended products than before they were engaged. So here's how you get started. Now remember, this is not your Facebook page or your Twitter page or whatever social network page it might be, even LinkedIn. This is about your company or your product or your brand. So you got to decide where you want to be. If you have a consumer product, obviously you want to go to more consumer type of social networks like a Facebook or a Twitter. If you have a business, a B2B type of product, you probably want to look at and consider LinkedIn. So if you're just to get started, I want to talk a little bit about what are the three main ones that you probably want to look into in terms of creating a page in a social network for your product or your company. Facebook obviously offers deals and news updates with your community or your followers. And you have Twitter, you can share your news, blogs, and posts, interesting articles, things like that. And also Google. And the reason why Google, there's not a lot of followers or not a lot of people participating in Google+, but Google uses that for your SEO ranking. So it can help you in your products in a natural organic search if you have a Google page. And then you have to decide who you want to be. So you take a look at your character, your persona. What kind of product do you have? Is it a game? Then you probably want to be a little bit more lighter and upbeat. The tone, the language, and the purpose. This all creates your persona or your image. And you have to make sure, once you start social marketing, if if you have multiple people doing updates, sending tweets, posting on Facebook, you have to make sure that you have the same voice, the same tone. So I may be happy one day and go and do some posts, but someone who comes in after me at work and is going to make a post who's not very happy, maybe be a little bit more biased or down in tone, it has to be consistent. It has to be the same across all communication. So you have to make sure that whatever that persona is you decide to be, that you actually continue that persona regardless of who's doing a post or an update. Then you have to have a plan. You have to set expectations. What do you want to accomplish with this social marketing? Do you want to create awareness of just a single product? Do you want to create awareness about your company as a whole? You also have to be consistent, like I just mentioned. You have to be, how often are you going to post? It's recommended that if you have a Facebook page for your company or your product, you only want to do a post maybe once or twice a day. If you have a Twitter account, then you probably want to give like no more than 4 updates or tweets per day. And you have to prepare for the worst. What happens if you released a product with bugs? You need to make sure that you have some type of communication strategy to help out people. And the other thing is, the worst thing you can do is post something on a social network. Someone else comes in, one of your followers comes in and makes a post and not respond to them. That's probably the worst thing that you can do. So if something bad happens, you need to make sure that you have some type of response with someone who's not happy with your product. And then listen. Like I said before, every good conversation starts with good listening. So you got to listen to what people are saying and what people are doing on your posts, on your social network sites. Actually, it's a great way to learn about your consumers. Learn about what your consumers or followers like about your products. It can help you build better products, better software. And it's quality over quantity, hands down. So when people complain about consumers that unlike brands on Facebook, they have too many posts, they're getting bothered by your messages. Their wall becomes too crowded with marketing messages, and content became competitive or repetitive or boring. And you also, when you're doing your posts, you probably want to offer some deals or something like that on your pages to entice them to come back to you more often. And last but not least, you got to have some fun. So if you're always pushing your marketing message, people are going to get bored with your site or your page. And this is one of our pages that we put up there before, I think about 3 months ago. It said web developer. It says hackers. This is what my friends think I do. At the very end, at the bottom right-hand corner, it says here's what I actually do. So he's a frustrated web developer. So it's a little sassy, a little fun, and poking fun of ourselves. And here's just a real-life example of one of our clients they do a great job of actually promoting their products on their social network pages. So you can see here they have a large fan base. They have over 72,000 followers. And then they also give incentives for people to come back to them and visit. So hey, you can possibly win a free iPad. And then you can they do customer reviews. Hey, what do you think of our stuff? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are the things you like about it? What are the things you don't like? And here's on another page here. So they're offering more incentives. Maybe it's free content, little small snippets of content that they can use and entice them into another product that they might have, and eventually create a sale from that. And also just some general community building, like hey, what TV shows are you watching? Another way to get that demographic information out of your followers. And then the fun stuff, in the bottom right hand corner here, it says I got moves like Jaguar, not moves like Jagger. So having a little fun with that. And then there's also free listening tools. So you can go out there and you can Find out what people are saying about you. What is the competition? What are people saying about the competition? So you can learn lots of things from these tools. And some of the social networks actually have some of their own analytics here. So you can look at traffic and visits. You can also look at where the traffic is coming from. And also, if you're really interested in getting into Facebook, there's an algorithm that they use. And one is the affinity score between viewing the user and the edge creator. And the other is the weight for this type of this edge type. And again, very much like Google, video and photos and like tags mean a lot. So you want to have some good, rich content on your social page. And then time decay factor based on how long ago the edge was created. So when you do your post, if you're doing something special like for end users in Germany, you have a special offer for one of your products, you don't want to post that special offer at 5 o'clock at night because all your end users are probably in bed sleeping. So you probably want to do a post for Europe in the morning and then maybe at 3 o'clock in the afternoon do something for your US consumers. So you have to make sure that you're being very timely on the things that you're doing on your social network pages. And it's kind of, here's a story I want to share with you guys. So I had to speak at a conference in Europe, and I told my wife, hey, you know what? Let's take a long weekend in Belgium. Let's go to Bruges. So I'd never been to Bruges before, and it's one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. And I took hundreds of pictures. I almost filled up my phone with pictures. So I went on Facebook and I told my 500 friends, hey, Jen and we're in Bruges, and this is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait to show you guys my pictures. And I get home, I go to upload my pictures into my laptop here, and boom, they're gone. So I go back on Facebook, I go, sorry guys, I don't have any pictures to show you, I really apologize. But man, you know what, I think I'm gonna go online and try to find some photo recovery software. So I went online, went on Google, found some photo recovery software, downloaded it, and I found my pictures. So what did I do? I went back onto Facebook and went, hey everyone, I found my pictures. I used this software and it helped me find them all. So hey, check this out. So I posted some of these pictures on Facebook. And I liked this product. So I have 500 friends, which is not a lot of friends on Facebook. But what if my 500 friends have at least 500 friends? That's 250,000 impressions made for one product. So that's a powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool. And it's a really good example of how you can leverage social networks for building your brand. You know what? I think that's all I have today. But don't forget to like us on Facebook. And you can follow us on Twitter. Are there any questions?
Okay, this is something that's always bugged me. I'll be like walking down the street and on the back of a bus is an ad for a product, and in the bottom corner is like a T for Twitter and an F for Facebook on the back of a bus. I cannot click on. You got anything to say about that?
I think that is I think that's a waste of advertising. I think there is some overhype behind social marketing, right? And the bottom line is, if you can't click on it, why would you even show it? So, but when you are doing things like if you have an email campaign about one of your products to your install base, definitely have something that's clickable on there to take them to your Facebook page or your Twitter. Yes?
So I actually did some marketing on Facebook, and we found it worked for a while and it stopped. You can end up showing the same ads to the same people. It's a little weird. But what we were able to do by doing that is we had to go to a Facebook specific page we made for that product. And we did
you have to, it's all part of your marketing mix, right? So it's one more aspect of getting your brand out in front of eyeballs. But to monetize the traffic, and like I was talking at the beginning of this talk, people are pulling back their advertising, their banners, right, in these social networks. And it is because people don't want to leave. And it's really about building community and getting followers, right? You take a look at these like World of Warcraft. Okay, that's an online community. And there's areas in World of Warcraft where you can just talk about the game, talk about what you've done, what you've accomplished. But it's one more aspect to embed into your end user or consumer's mind about your product or your persona. But yeah, I'm telling you that monetizing it is really tough. And you have to put you have to put a lot of people on it to try to really truly monetize that. The only thing is if you have one product, I think it's more difficult to monetize rather than a whole family of products. Like I showed you Wondershare there. They have 400 different software types. So, you know, very much like Iverson, you guys have many, many products. It depends on how you want to piecemeal other products to them, right? So I think free content with a potential upgrade path where you can monetize that free content, that's the way to go about it. I don't know how you did it, Phil, but I mean,
Content.
were you giving out free content at all or not?
Tons. We got a lot of traffic. We got about 60,000 uniques a month, but the monetization was just crappy.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Oh no, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yesterday, Nico showed that slide with the 6 types of users. There's fans, devotees. Do you do Twitter, Facebook, whatever? And if so, would those be the ones you be targeting to build that community?
Well, I was just, it's to build real devotees, and I was checking my phone right now, and one of our guys found us through Facebook, and he actually friended me personally, and he just downloaded my presentation from yesterday. This is a guy who finds, I'm like, no, you're getting a little
A little personal?
Great presentation yesterday. I'm like, well, okay, so yeah, it's really good for getting like a base of guys talking. The hard part is monetizing.
But then, so are you doing that with just, are you only trying to get the fans and devotees? I guess what I'm saying. I didn't see
Yeah.
anyone else would care.
Well, then
But
you
just for more overall community, it seems like it's just a way to,
people who are better at this that I've spoken to, and I want to do this, is what you then do is after you've created a group of fans, then you can use the Facebook ad platform to advertise to those people.
right?
Because, so all you're doing by getting the likes is getting a group of people around you who really like your stuff, and then you sell.
So you can advertise to friends of friends too.
Yes,
You
exactly.
can do an ad program on the devotees they have. Facebook will actually do ads to their friends as well. So when you get a significant group of fans on Facebook, you can advertise to them and their friends.
I think there's 2 separate things. So if you want to directly monetize, you can do the 37 signals thing of you could have sold that presentation and that guy would buy it.
Yeah.
So how many people do you have? You know, that's just an example, but
Yeah.
there are things that only the devotees buy. But then I wondered if we're monetizing directly for the devotees, you want to give them something that they can sell to their friends. And a special code like that.
It's more about just finding, as far as I know, and I'm nowhere near an expert, it's just creating a very demographically focused group of people to advertise to. That's all I know.
Yeah, you know, when I was in the software publishing business, we spent millions of dollars doing a survey, and we were we had this company, a consulting company, stand outside back in the day, CompUSA and Best Buy and Walmart, and if someone purchased software, we tried to figure out why did you buy that software? And here's where there becomes a disconnect with social marketing, right? The number one, hands down, the number one most effective way to sell your software is to have someone, a trusted friend or colleague, recommend that software, right? So if you do get that core trusted group like Nico's talking about, and they like it, and their friends see that they like that software, you may not realize it, but you did generate a sale from a consumer that was friends with somebody else. So it's really hard to kind of try to link it together to see that, no, it exactly happened because of Facebook, right? But it is the #1 form of advertising. It is a recommendation by a friend or a comment. And it's extremely powerful. It's 60% of the time, that's why people buy software. Because someone else said it was good or it added value. Any other questions? Sure.
How do you build that community on Facebook? You throw up a Facebook page and then hear the crickets. What do you do to actually get people coming to your page and liking you and get some activity going?
Well, I think it's a lot of grassroots, right? So you're going to have a core group of people that you're going to make an announcement to that, hey, we have a Facebook page. I would actually go back to your install base and let them know that you have a Facebook page. Do some type of newsletter or offer them something to come and check you out.
But that's only for existing users. I'm trying to get new users to come.
And I think that's where it starts to grow. Once you have that core, like Nico was talking about, it starts to expand after that.
The one thing recently with the business page on Facebook is it doesn't have a subscribe feature.
You said a business page?
Yes. Yeah. If you create a business page on Facebook, it does not have a subscribe. It doesn't allow users to subscribe to that page. So if later on you make a post, it doesn't automatically appear on the newsfeed of users, even if that particular user already liked your product before. So it's actually, like my product, I have a Facebook page. It's really hard to get more users to come to page. It's just sitting there. It's mostly like a forum for my existing users.
Yeah. What?
I believe. What you want to do is you want to build a community from your own site, for instance. So your Facebook is an extension of that. And you've got to give people something that they're going to want to come back for. Make it exclusive. Give them something that they're not going to get anywhere else unless they like you on Facebook, for instance. Whether it's a discount, whether it's tips and tricks, different things like that. And you want to make it continual so that they're coming back over and over again and bringing something to the table. So invite them to comment. Have contests, for instance. What do you like best about my software? We're going to give a contest, and the person who answers the most creative answer gets a professional license or something like that, or free support for a year. Make it fun and make it interactive and give people something, and in return they will give you part of that sense of community as well.
You can even incentivize them. Let's say you have photo software. You can incentivize, make the coolest enhancements using my software. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to put up an iPad for an incentive either. And like Denise was saying, discounts and special content mean a lot, especially to your core, but then they're going to start sharing that if they really like what you gave them.
Is it better to have a page that's not really that active than not having one at all? I guess the fear is when you first get started and you're trying to build, it makes you look irrelevant, small, before you actually build up that community. What's worse, having a page with a small following or nothing at all?
You know what? I don't think that's. I still think you're taking care of some of your core people that really like your product or your brand, and you need to cater to those folks because that is going to be your word of mouth. And even though you have a small following, it's better than no following, right? But I think the biggest problem that a lot of people run into is once you start this, you got to keep going, right? You can't just go and post something one day and wait a month later and then come back. Because if you do have followers, they want to know more about you. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know what's the next cool product you're going to come out with. And once you start, you need to keep at it and be consistent about it.
Find evangelists too. If you've got people who are very active in sending you like support questions and things like that, seems to be really engaged in your product, utilize those as an evangelist for your product and your brand, and that will go very far. You only need a few.
seen it for software developers have actually a piece of software, it's a consumer piece of software, you can put a like button in it and you can get really smart with it, like 100th opening of the software, you do a little pop-up, hey, you opened 100 times, you must like us, click like, and people actually do it. It's really easy. The guy who showed the slide for Laughing Bird software does a lot of stuff like that. It's easy.
All right, thank you everyone.